With Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson missing tonight's game against the Philadelphia 76ers, Mitchell Robinson steps up big and OG Anunoby continues to flourish and show us Knicks fans his offensive repertoire. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel, and before we get into today's video, I want to remind you guys that around 65% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So please, whatever you do, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, and also subscribe to the channel if you guys want to be up to date with the more recent news, reports, rumors, post-game videos that Chris and I put out, just like this one. But in tonight's game against the Philadelphia 76ers, listen, the Philadelphia 76ers, they're an abomination to the NBA. It's kind of a weird game to really talk about because on one end, we're supposed to win. We're supposed to get that W against the Philadelphia 76ers. And if we lose, it's probably going to be looked at as the worst thing to ever happen. The good thing is that we were able to leave with a W, 105-91. And all of the headlines in tomorrow's newspapers or First Take, Stephen A. Smith, nobody's going to be talking about how the Knicks lost to an embarrassing Philadelphia 76ers team. But what I really want to talk about, just Mitchell Robinson, who I think had his best game of the season, finishing the game with 14 points, 5 of 9 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. 4 of 4 from the free throw line, like, hello, that's a great stat for Mitchell Robinson. 14 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He had a solid double-double, 14 and 14 in the 21 minutes that he played. Again, it's the Philadelphia 76ers, so I don't want to blow it out of proportion, but these are the little glimpses. These are the little signs that us Knicks fans, we're looking to see, specifically with Mitchell Robinson, because if we're going to keep it 100, if we're going to keep it a buck, we're going to go as far as Mitchell Robinson kind of takes us, because for the most part, we know what we have in Jalen Brunson and Cat. The pick and roll, pick and pop. For the most part, we know what we have with Mikal Bridges. OG Anunoby is a different conversation, which I'll get into him in a little bit later. But for the most part, we know what we have with the players that I already mentioned. Mitchell Robinson, he completely adds a whole new wrinkle to this team where it goes from being in the conversation for being a contender to if Mitchell Robinson is going to be healthy, if Mitchell Robinson is going to be active, if Mitchell Robinson is going to be cleaning up the glass, altering shots, blocking shots, giving Cat a rest on the defensive end. It goes from being in the conversation for being a contender to really being taken seriously. And Mitchell Robinson, I just want to give him a lot of props. I want to give him a lot of respect for having to go through those 2 stress fractures in his foot. Joel Embiid in last year's playoff series, just what he did to Mitchell Robinson, grabbing his leg and literally pulling him down with 2 arms while he was on the floor. He should have been suspended. He should have been fined. But whatever, that's in the past. But Mitchell Robinson being able to just work his way back to the point where he's having games like tonight, where it gives us Knicks fans a lot of hope. It's just, I want to give a big salute to Mitchell Robinson. OG Anunoby, like I said to open up this video, he continues to impress us Knicks fans. Tonight dropping 27 points, 7 of 16 from the floor, 2 of 9 from three-point line. That's not great. 11 of 13 from the floor with 5 rebounds with 2 assists in the 33 minutes that he played. OG Anunoby, I don't know, man. It's very interesting to see how he goes from kind of being the main option now. When Jalen Brunson went down with that ankle injury against the Los Angeles Lakers, the conversation was about Mikal Bridges. Okay, now this is a perfect opportunity for Mikal Bridges to really insert himself into the offense. This is a perfect opportunity for Cat to go from the number 2 option to the number 1 option. There was all this chit chatter around Mikal Bridges, around Karl-Anthony Towns, and I feel like OG Anunoby has just very sneakily just crept his way into being like, you might be able to start the conversation of during this stretch, since Jalen Brunson has been out with that ankle injury, you might be able to throw in the conversation of OG Anunoby being the best player. And if we're looking at the amount of points that he's averaged since, I believe it's been around 11 games, and I think OG Anunoby, I talked about it in a previous video, I think he's averaging anywhere around like 22, 23 points. OG Anunoby is continuing to impress me a lot. I also want to give a huge shout out to Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet, I think this, alongside Mitchell Robinson, for being one of the better games of the season. Landry Shamet ended the game tonight with 20 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 6 of 11 from the three-point line, with 2 rebounds, with 1 assist in the 34 minutes that he played. Tonight, DeLon Wright also got another starting point guard nod, which I think us Knicks fans, we were wholly expecting for Tyler Kolek to get that starting point guard nod. But for the most part, DeLon Wright has gotten it, and he's going to continue to get it with Cam Payne being out, Deuce McBride, and Jalen Brunson being out. So with DeLon Wright being inserted into the starting lineup, that meant that Landry Shamet is, during this stretch where Cam Payne, Deuce McBride, and Jalen Brunson are out, that meant that Landry Shamet is going to be probably the first option coming off the bench. And in tonight's game, he really showed Knicks fans. I think he's gaining the trust of Coach Tibbs little by little. And I've always said that if it's between Cam Payne and Landry Shamet, I'm actually going to choose Landry Shamet. I have a little bit of more trust in Landry Shamet to make the right play, whether it's scoring for himself, making a play for himself or others, or giving an assist. I just think Landry Shamet is going to be the answer over Cam Payne. And like I keep saying, tonight's game, there were certain things that I definitely took away from it. Talked about Mitchell Robinson, talked about OG Anunoby, talked about Landry Shamet. For the most part, it was against the Philadelphia 76ers, so we can't go too crazy about it. But before I wrap up the video, I just kind of wanted to talk about like how crazy it is that like what 1 year of a difference makes. Last year, we were facing the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round of the playoffs, and now look at Philly. It's just interesting how like the NBA is just like anything can happen at any moment. If your player goes down, then the rest of the organization, like there might be some sort of bad juju to go with the team. I don't know. Joel Embiid is definitely a special example because he's had injury problems ever since he got drafted. So Joel Embiid might not be the perfect candidate for this type of conversation, but it also brought me to a point of perspective of how, like, prior to Jalen Brunson getting here, we had Julius Randle, and Julius Randle was able to bring us back into at least the playoffs, even though we had a disappointing outing in the playoffs. But before Julius Randle, what were we? We were an absolute graveyard. And then before that, we had a couple of good seasons with Carmelo Anthony. And then before the Carmelo Anthony days, and before Amari Stoudemire signed here for free agents, it was, again, a graveyard. So basically what I'm trying to say is the expectations for this Knicks team going into the playoffs is absolutely, at minimum, getting to the second round, at minimum. Seeing how the season has played out with Mikal Bridges, with Cat, and the way he's played this season, I think second round, being able to get to the second round, I think is a healthy expectation for this team. Now, if the playoffs started today, if the second round of the playoffs started today, we would be facing the Boston Celtics in the second round. And I don't know, man. Boston Celtics, they're a juggernaut of a team, man. I think the Boston Celtics are going to be the ones to come out of the East. And it looks like it's going to be a showdown between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics in the ECF. Now, can things happen? Can injuries happen? Or something else happening? Yes. But if things are going to keep going the way they are, we're going to be seeing the Boston Celtics in the second round. And I don't think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. I think, if anything, we'll make it competitive and make it at least a 6-game series, especially with Mitchell Robinson coming back. Hopefully he's going to be able to get the feel of the game back by the time the second round of the playoffs come, because Mitchell Robinson has been out forever. And then you never know. Mikal Bridges, he might, during this stretch with Jalen Brunson being out, maybe something clicked with him. Maybe something clicked with Coach Tibbs as well. Maybe he's seen something within the offense that he could implement Mikal Bridges a lot more, as well as OG Anunoby. There's just a lot of questions, and there's a lot of opportunity for us to make some noise in the playoffs. But at the same time, I also gotta talk about what I see. And what I see from the Boston Celtics, they're just absolutely routing teams. They have that reigning defending championship swag about them. They have that reigning defending championship aura about them, and they're just trying to get to the playoffs. And once they get to the playoffs, they know what type of time it is. The Cleveland Cavaliers, throughout the whole regular season, yeah, they've been waxing teams, but we just haven't seen it from them in the playoffs. And again, a team being led by Donovan Mitchell, you guys know my opinion about that. I don't think the ceiling of that is high. Now, is this his opportunity to prove me wrong, to prove everybody wrong? Absolutely. Do I think they'll get to the Eastern Conference Finals and face off against the Boston Celtics? I think so. But if they don't do it, and Donovan Mitchell, again, has another goose egg in the playoffs, I think the conversation for the general NBA audience, I think it really needs to change from Donovan Mitchell being one of the better players in the league to he is literally just a regular season player. But I went off on a little tangent. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts about what I saw from this game. Again, what I saw from this game wasn't necessarily the win against the Philadelphia 76ers. Of course, even though racking up wins is always a pleasant sight, the implications of this game, specifically with Mitchell Robinson, I think it pay huge dividends towards the end of the season going into the playoffs. But guys, that's it for today's video. I want to say thank you so much for checking it out. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about the Knicks' effort against the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me know what you guys thought about Mitchell Robinson's play, Landry Shamet's play, OG Anunoby becoming the best player during this stretch while Jalen Brunson has been out. Leave it in the comments and let me know what you guys think. But until next time, I'm going to keep it short, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. I'm out. Queens, baby. I'm out. Peace.